Ever wondered what really gets you deactivated on DoorDash? You're not alone. Many drivers are confused about what DoorDash considers when deactivating an account. As a result, myths and misconceptions spread like wildfires, and some things are just not true. Well, in this video, we're going to set the record straight on some of the most common DoorDash deactivation myths. DoorDash deactivation can be a nightmare for a lot of drivers. A single mistake can lead to a deactivation, and with it, the loss of money. So it's essential to really understand how DoorDash works and what you can do to avoid deactivation. We'll dive into the most common myths and separate fact from fiction. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the knowledge you need to drive safely and avoid deactivation. Understanding DoorDash's policies is crucial for every one of us. With so much misinformation out there, it's easy to get confused. That's why I'm here to help. We'll explain the myths, the facts, and everything else in between. My goal is to empower you with the knowledge you need to be an experienced dashers. And maybe some experienced dashers out there might not even know this. So let's get started and explore some of the most common myths surrounding DoorDash deactivation. We'll take a closer look at what really gets you deactivated and what you can do to avoid it. Low acceptance rates don't necessarily mean you're in trouble. One of the biggest myths that I can think of out there is that a low acceptance rate will lead to immediate deactivation. But that's not true. DoorDash does consider your acceptance rates like certain programs they have, and you can go down to zero, which I did many years ago, and I'm still here with over 18,000 deliveries and 7 years later, and they don't do anything to you. Your acceptance rate is just one piece of the DoorDash puzzle. DoorDash wants to see that you're actively engaging in taking deliveries and actually working the app. A low acceptance rate might raise some red flags when it comes to priority access and the amount of orders you see, but it's not a guarantee of deactivation. What's more important is that you're consistent in working the app. That's how a lot of dashers make their money. DoorDash uses a very complex algorithm to evaluate drivers' performance. They consider a range of factors, which includes your acceptance rate, your cancellation rate, on-time rate. So while acceptance rates are important, they're not the only thing DoorDash really looks at, especially when it comes to deactivations. And while acceptance rates won't get you deactivated, it will mess, though, with your tier on the rewards program if that's what you're in. And if you're not maintaining acceptance rate over 50%, 70% for platinum, and some higher in some other locations, in most markets, it will affect the orders you see and the amount of orders you see. But what will get you deactivated is your completion rate and also your customer service rating. But let's talk completion rate, which many drivers get confused with acceptance rates. This is the amount of orders that you accept and then cancel. Do not go below 90% because that will lead to you not being on the app any longer, which brings me to our next metric. Being late on deliveries doesn't automatically get you deactivated. Another common myth is that being late on deliveries will get you deactivated instantly, but that's not the case. Will it get you deactivated eventually? Sometimes, yes. DoorDash understands that delays can happen and they're not necessarily a reflection of your performance. However, it will affect your on-time rate, which is a big deal in some markets with the rewards program. And too many lates will knock you out of a tier, especially platinum, which many drivers are striving for these days. They can also lead to contract violations. Too many contract violations can get you deactivated. This is a big deal lately because many dashers have reported even waiting at a restaurant too long, which is out of your control as a dasher, will lead to a lower rating and also violations. This has not yet come to my market, thank goodness. And you're going to have to let me know, is this new point system in your market? And let me know your opinions on your time rate. But even with one late, it won't get you deactivated. A series of multiple lates could put you in jeopardy. DoorDash is doing this especially with Dashers that multi-app at the same time with the other apps. We don't think that they track this, but they do. Which means you take 2 or more orders from 2 different platforms at the same time. And because of this, you might be late for a DoorDash delivery because you completed another app first. DoorDash does track your GPS and knows when you are late. Be extremely careful of this on time, right? They are cracking down on extreme lates or even just 1 minute late. DoorDash has finally found a way to limit dirty multi-apping. And this is the one thing I want everybody to be on the lookout for because I see this being a big deal in the near future. Now, DoorDash does have an official policy on lateness, but it's not as black and white as you really may think. They consider the context and the severity of the delay. If you're consistently late or have a pattern of delayed deliveries, that definitely might raise concern, especially with DoorDash using AI technology to deactivate a lot of Dashers. Many Dashers believe if they make just one mistake, they will be deactivated. Another myth. That's not completely true. The thing with deactivations is it has a lot to do with the severity of the offense and what DoorDash deems as deactivatable, which isn't always clear. Low ratings can be a concern, but they're not a death sentence. DoorDash considers the context and the severity of the issue. If you're consistently low rated or have a pattern of poor service, you go under 4.2, that'll get you deactivated. It definitely might raise concerns in DoorDash's eyes. However, be careful. Many Dashers also think, well, I just won't work DoorDash any longer, which I get it. Many Dashers don't even make it to their first 100 deliveries. Well, here is a fact that many don't know about, that if you are inactive for an extended periods of time, even though we don't know the exact time frame, there is a possibility you could get deactivated for inactivity. So even if you think you're going to use DoorDash in the future and haven't done it in a long while, you might just want to do an order every once in a while to keep your account active. Here's another myth for you. You can appeal a deactivation, and it's essential that you do. Many drivers believe that if they are deactivated, there's no going back. Once you're done, you're done. Sometimes that's true. I'm not going to lie about that. But sometimes it's not true. DoorDash does have an appeal process in place to help drivers who have been deactivated. The appeal process is designed to be reviewed by a human because deactivations, a lot of them are AI generated. DoorDash will review your case and consider any mitigating circumstances. By appealing a deactivation, you can provide additional context and show that you're committed to improve on the DoorDash platform, but you must fill out the appeal. The appeal process is your chance to make your case. DoorDash wants to hear from you and understand what's really going on. By being clear, concise, short, simple, you can make a strong case for why you should be reinstated and not let the deactivation stick. However, it's essential to be thorough and provide supporting evidence. DoorDash wants to see that you're serious about improvement and committed to providing excellent service. Also, guys, pictures are worth 1,000 words. Cover your butt at all times and provide them in the appeal. This is not guaranteed, but trust me, many Dashers get deactivated every day, which alarms a lot of Dashers because it could happen to anybody. It could happen to me. But if you appeal, there is a chance if you didn't do anything wrong, it's a false deactivation and they will overturn it. But if it's a major offense, sorry, that deactivation just might stick. The whole thing is though, fight for yourself because you're your biggest advocate. Do you think DoorDash really cares that you got deactivated? Part-time drivers are just as at risk of deactivation as full-time drivers. Some drivers believe that only full-time drivers are at risk of deactivation, but that's not true either. DoorDash considers all drivers to be the same standards, regardless of whether you're full-time or part-time status. As a part-time driver, you're just as responsible providing all the metrics that we talked about. DoorDash expects all drivers to meet the same performance metrics regardless of how often they drive, and also follow all the terms of services. By understanding DoorDash's policies and terms of service and procedures, you can avoid deactivation and succeed as a part-time driver. Part-time drivers have these same opportunities as full-time drivers. DoorDash provides the same tools, same rewards program, and resources to all drivers, regardless of your schedule or even your status. However, it's essential to be aware of DoorDash's policies, as we all know. By understanding what's expected of you, you can take steps to improve and definitely make some money. However, it's essential to be patient and persistent when it comes to deactivations. The reinstatement process can definitely take time, which a lot of us don't have. We want to get right back out there, and it's essential to follow up and provide additional information if they're asking for it. Believe me, following up is key to doing the deactivation process. Okay, so you're going to have to let me know. Are there any other myths that you want to know are true or false about DoorDash deactivations? And have you heard some really crazy ones and you're like, yeah, no, that's not right either? Go ahead. I want to hear from you and leave them in the comments below. If you made it this far to the end of this video, I really appreciate you, and consider giving this video, if you got value out of it, a thumbs up. And I drop a video almost every single day, and subscribe to this channel for more information. You're going to want to check this one out next if you want to binge watch more DoorDash videos.